Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the weekly neutrino forecast from May 15th to May 21st, 2016. And on May 15th, we have the sun. You can see it denoted there by the black circle with a dot in it. It's in Taurus. It's also in the 8th hexagram. And on the outside of the wheel, we have the chop mark for the 8th hexagram. Numbered from bottom to top, the 8 goes yin, 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 yang, yin. And then the 8th hexagram is mapped to an opening in an energy channel called a gate. Right here we have the 8th gate of contribution, holding together the basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. Located in the throat center, in an individual energy path in the knowing circuit called the Channel of Inspiration, a design of being a creative role model that connects to its harmonic gate, the first gate of self-expression, the creative creation as a primal force, the energy potential to manifest inspiration without limitation. And I found human design to be amazingly accurate in describing the person. I use it as my primary tool when I provide readings. And we have the following activated gates on May 15th. We have the sun is in the 8th gate, with the earth in the 14th gate. The north node is in the 47th gate, with the south node in the 22nd gate. Mercury is retrograde, and it's in the 2nd gate. Venus is also in the 2nd gate. Mars is retrograde in the 34th gate. Pluto is newly direct in the 64th gate. We have Saturn retrograde as well, and it's in the 5th gate. Uranus is in the 42nd gate. Neptune is in the 63rd gate, and Pluto is retrograde in the 54th gate. So obviously not every gate activation forms a channel, but this information can be very helpful if you know your own human design chart, because some of these transits will form channels with potentials in your personal body graph. And we begin the week with 2 channel definitions due to the transit field. With Jupiter in the 64 and the North Node in the 47, we've got this long-term transit definition of the channel of abstraction, a design of mental activity mixed with clarity until June 7th. The energy of this channel is about creating something new out of something old. This is about abstract thought being brought into the collective consciousness through the arts, philosophy, history, and culture. It brings wonderful energy for telling stories about our experiences that inspire others, but can bring confusion when trying to be used to resolve our own issues. The defined head center can bring the pressure to think about things that don't matter, and the defined asana center can influence people to believe that they're certain of something even when they're not. And then we also have the Earth in the 14th gate, and Mercury and Venus in the 2nd gate, which brings us the channel of the beat, a design of being the keeper of keys until May 20th. And this adds energy to follow our own direction in life through the experiences that empower others either directly or indirectly. This is a time when folks may feel the need to follow their inner mission in life. People will surrender more to the rhythm of life rather than making decisions through thinking. Folks with this channel have the skill to manipulate change in any direction they wish, as long as they're waiting to respond to life. The defined G center can influence folks to obsess about where they're headed or where they might find love. The defined sacral center can affect non-generator types in feeling busy and having the endurance to work. Obviously, not something to get used to. They also might think that they know when enough is enough, which can lead to the premature or abrupt end to something that really needs more time. And as individual circuitry, this definition brings melancholy, or those blue feelings that are best used channeled into some type of creative activity. May 15th begins with the sun in the first line of the 8th hexagram, which is honesty, the truthful acceptance of limitation and the recognition that it can only be transcended through sharing. Exalted, the awareness that the whole is always greater than the sum of the parts, knowing that the creative expression must be honestly communicated and shared. Detrimented, withdrawal and the fear of losing individuality in a group environment, a design to share creatively at the expense of individuality. And then later on the 15th, the sun then moves into the second line of the 8th hexagram, which is described as service. Exalted, the highest good to serve selflessly, the potential to be an example through unselfish expression. And the sun is exalted in the second line of the 8th hexagram, so I'm not going to read the detriment. Also on the 15th, Venus moves out of the second gate in the hexagram, leaving behind Mercury, and it moves up to here to the 23rd gate in the throat center. And in human design, Venus is about values, morality, natural law in which we deal with the other and the consequences of the world around us. And Venus in the 23rd gate of assimilation, splitting apart, amorality, the awareness and understanding which leads to the acceptance of diversity. Venus is in the first line of the 23rd hexagram, which is proselytization, the attempt to undermine one set of values for another. Exalted, the sage, who in the extreme can defend evil as part of the greater good, the powerful expression of insight which will undermine established values. Detriment of the missionary whose very light can bring darkness, the powerful expression of insight which will produce negative effect. And then on the 16th, the sun then moves into the third line of the 8th hexagram at 4:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the third line of the 8th hexagram is the phony, the acceptance of the style and not the substance of communal actions. Exalted, the perfected and rarely detected superficial intimacy, the example as an expression through style, not substance. Detrimented, a shallowness that underestimates others and overestimates its own ability to continue the deception without detection, and over-reliance on unfounded confidence and style. On the 17th, the sun then moves into the fourth line of the 8th gate and hexagram at 3:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the fourth line of the 8th hexagram is respect, the gift of naturally recognizing the contributions of others, and particularly the acknowledgement of those who lead by example. Exalted, the uncompromising drive to assimilate, the drive to contribute and be an example to and for others. Detriment in a group where limitation is transcended, reason alone cannot predict individual worth. As example, the acknowledged leader of an athletic team who is not necessarily the most talented, a gift for contribution that is not conditioned by limitations. On the 18th, the sun then moves into the fifth line of the 8th hexagram, and at 2:57 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the sun is detrimented in the fifth line of the 8th hexagram and is described as Dharma. Holding together does not exclude eventual separation. Successful union after a proper term will encourage separation. The fledgling, once mature, is expected to leave the nest. This is right action which does not harm the integrity of the union. Detriment, the parent who cannot let go of the child, understanding only that its authority is being challenged. Contribution even as an end in itself, is neither accepts nor expects limitation, exemplified by the parent that cannot let go of the child. On the 19th, the sun then moves into the 6th line of the 8th hexagram at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 6th line of the 8 is communion, is certainty that grows out of harmony, exalted the awareness of patterns that ensures correct timing, the gift of knowing when to continue creatively. Detrimented doubt, which may engender regret even in the most ideal circumstances, uncertainty in timing and regret despite the circumstances. And then also on the 19th, Venus moves out of the 23rd gate in hexagram and joins the sun in the 8. We talked about Venus being about values, and Venus is in the 8th gate of contribution, holding together the basic worth, realizing, contributing individual efforts to group goals. And Venus is in the 1st line of the 8th hexagram, which is honesty, the truthful acceptance of limitation, and the recognition that it can only be transcended through sharing, exalted the awareness that the whole is always greater than the sum of the parts. Knowing the creative expression must be honestly communicated and shared. Detrimented withdrawal and the fear of losing individuality in a group environment designed to share creativity at the expense of individuality. On the 20th, the sun moves out of the 8. It leaves behind Venus, and it moves into the 20th gate in the hexagram, throat. Creating this definition. And we also have the Earth moving out of the 14th gate and moving into the 34th gate. So we then have a defined throat center here. All right. So we've got the Earth is in the 34th hexagram. This is the gate of power, the power of the great. Power is only great when its display or use serves the common good. This shift happens at 1:43 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we have the sun is in the 20th gate of the now. Contemplation, recognition, and awareness in the now transforms understanding into right action. And the sun is in the 1st line of the 20th hexagram, which is superficiality, a reliance on shallowness, exalted the raising of superficiality to an art form, the sloganeer, superficial expression as an art form. Detrimented the superficial expression of the personality, the expression of the superficial personality. And as we move from the 8 to the 20, we enter the gate of contemplation, the now, this individual throat gate. This is the individual throat gate in the integration channel, which is about survival. Its polarity, the 34, is the gate of power, and together they form the channel of charisma. The 34 brings the power for correct action to the 20th gate's awareness in the now. The 20th also forms the channel of awakening with the 10th gate, which is awakening is a design of commitment to higher principles. The 10th gate is the behavior, the self-treading. And it's also in the knowing circuit with the 57th gate, and it forms the channel of the brainwave, a design of penetrating awareness when it's connected to its harmonic, the 57th gate of intuitive insight, the gentle, the extraordinary power of clarity, making the 20th gate a very complicated gate. And the channel of charisma, a design where thoughts become deeds, with the 34th gate of the power of the power of the great, through the sacral response, forming the classic manifesting generator definition. And it's been said this is the only true example of being a manifesting generator, with the sacral connected directly to the throat. Connecting the generative force to the throat's potential for manifestation. The manifesting, generating life force is all about busyness, but not busyness for somebody else. This is busyness for themselves. The 20th gate is about empowerment by being in the existential now. This is a mystical gate. And with the 34, we have the second variation of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. The 3420 says, I know I'm busy in the now, but this is about being busy and getting things done. The sleeping phoenix is about being busy as a way of being asleep. So they can really be totally absorbed in whatever they're busy doing. This can be a deeply superficial incarnation, along with this individual definition. Again, it can bring a powerful melancholic influence. And with the sun in the 20, and Mars and the Earth in the 34. This brings us the channel of charisma until May 27th, and this will influence us to become busier in the now, where the things we think about may become the experiences that we're having. Expect folks to be deeply involved in their daily activities and unaware of the expectations of others. People are not likely to even notice how busy they are, with the possibility of erupting spontaneously without the awareness of why. They may be in their own little world where things, if they're out of sight, they're out of mind. This also affects non-generator types, again, with being busy, having endurance to work, thinking they know when enough is enough, which again can lead to completely ending something that really may need more time. So again, following your strategy and authority is crucial to making sure that you're ending something that needs to be ended. Also, the defined throat center can influence those without to talk about what they know in the now to attract attention. And this again is more individual circuitry, again, bringing those blue feelings that are best used in some type of creative activity. And then on the 21st, the sun then moves into the second line of the 20th hexagram at 1:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 20 hexagram second line is the dogmatist, the restrictive and intentionally limited understanding. Exalted. The limitation, if personal and exclusive, is less negative through ascetic withdrawal. A restrictive awareness in the now detrimented the power to lead others down the narrow path. The gift through expression of leading others down a narrow and restrictive path. So anyway, thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the weekly neutrino forecast will be available for May 22nd, 2016. Should be available on the 21st, when we'll continue to look at the influence of the heavenly bodies as they transit the sky and the hexagrams of the I Ching. And you can check us out on Facebook, Blogger, or YouTube, as there's New World Birth presences in all those places. And I encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. And I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or if you wish to schedule a reading. And if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. Again, email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you wish to make a donation. Things have been pretty slow around here, so a donation would be greatly appreciated. Or, as I've said before, getting a reading is a great way to support us here, as well as getting something of value for yourself. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries, their synthesis and application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and as Ra would say, love yourself. All my best to you, and hope to connect with you in the future.